This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
Did you know using your browser in incognito mode doesn't actually protect your privacy? Take back your privacy with IPVanish VPN. Just one tap and all your data, passwords, communications, browsing history, and more will be instantly protected. IPVanish makes you virtually invisible online. Use IPVanish on all your devices, anytime you go online at home and especially on public Wi-Fi. Get IPVanish now for 70% off a yearly plan with this exclusive offer at ipvanish.com/audio.
Get ready, Minnesota. Comedian Jordan Klepper is bringing the laughs to the Fillmore on December 14th with the Suffering Fools Tour. One night only. High energy. Big laughs. No filter. Tickets are available now for the added matinee show. Get all the details at KFAN.com keyword calendar.
This kid got a chance to set the all-time attendance record for comics. Can he break Nate?
Take down Bargatze?
I just don't think. I mean, I'm sure he's a funny kid, but I don't think he's got a chance. That's just massive numbers by our friend Nate Bargatze. 1 o'clock hour, what do? We started out with 5, 3, 4.
Time now for 5 questions. Well, actually 3, but 5 sounds like more than 4. Question number 1.
We're gonna win, Twins, we're gonna score.
It's now time to delve deep into Twins territory.
Crack out a home run, shout a hit, hooray! Cheer for the Minnesota Twins today.
Yeah, here's what former Twins starter Chris Paddock said about getting traded to the Tigers. Quote, "Everybody's been awesome so far. These facilities here, all of the coaching staff, nutritionists, the kitchen. It's amazing what they have compared to what we had over at the Twins." Comment your thoughts on Paddock's comments.
Sounds like he's got Gordon Ramsay over there or something like that. Sounds like Chris is certainly concerned about eating. He likes the nutrition. He likes the kitchen. Yeah, I guess it's just further proof. And maybe the pull that pocket protector can address that because, that again is just, if what Paddock is saying is true, is that the Twins are kind of lacking a lot of the extras and the things behind the scenes like nutrition and having a fully stocked kitchen, just, hot tubs, cold tubs, lukewarm tubs, all that. I don't know how far he went with it because that's as far as he went with it. But it sounds like he's saying the Tigers are serious about putting together a winning ball club and treating the players like they're important. Like we're trying to win ball games. And so I don't know how, I don't know. But it doesn't surprise me, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
By the way, I just had this LaBelle tweet sent to me from a week ago.
Okay.
Here's what he wrote a week ago. LaBelle did. Trade deadline thoughts. Dealing Joe Ryan for significant overpay only. Making same demand for Jax or Duran sounds nice but unrealistic. Moving Vasquez, Paddock, France, Larnach, Wallner. Okay, what do you expect to get for them? Prediction? Twins don't make a trade.
Is that what he said? Twins don't make a trade.
Why do I need to go see Jordan Klepper when I can just read LaBelle's tweets?
Yeah. Well, it's like I say, it's wishful thinking, pull that pocket protector at its finest. In other words, Twins are going to trade those guys for anything because the team is not serious about certainly not this year. And if you're trading key players like this, you're also probably not very serious about next year. The word I was struggling for earlier is if you have any intention of trying to contend this year or next, you don't make the volume of trades.
The ownership doesn't care about next year because they're hoping they won't have the team.
That's exactly
They're trying
right.
to save money over August and September.
That's exactly right.
Question number 2. And now it's time to go in the trenches.
Football is officially back as the Detroit Lions will take on the Los Angeles Superchargers tonight in the Pro Football Hall of Fame game in Canton, Ohio. The game will take place at 7 p.m. on NBC and Peacock. Common, Will you be watching tonight?
I'll probably, out of curiosity, say click it on. I don't expect to see much because I don't think they're different than any other teams in the league. There won't be any starters in the game, will there? Is it possible for a series? But I thought back in the olden days, you would see, I think the first preseason game, the starters might play like a quarter, right? Then the next two, they didn't play at all. Then that final preseason game, they'd play the entire first half, and then usually the first series of the second half. So how are we making our adjustments coming out of the locker room? It seems as though, to be for the last 2, 3, 5, I don't know how many years, that especially the key starters, they don't play at all, right?
Well, and even more so for the Hall of Fame game, these two teams just get an extra preseason game. It's not like this is one of their 3 preseason games. Those two have 4 preseason games. So they're even less likely to play significant players. I think I saw Trey Lance is starting quarterback for the Superchargers.
Oh,
tonight.
really? I guess just to see football on the field and the cracking of the pads, I'll probably tune in. But yeah, it's not like must-see TV, that's for sure.
Question number 3. It's time now for multiple choice.
Which headline at usatoday.com would you most likely click on? A, fights broke out at Cowboys camp. The punishment was brutal. B, Ravens players petition Michael Phelps to give teammates swim lessons. C, Shannon Sharp out at ESPN after he settled $50 million rape lawsuit. D, former NBA All-Star faces federal charges for illegal gambling ring. Or E, is Tiger Star's facial hair to thank for Detroit turnaround?
Say that last one again.
Is Tiger Star's facial hair to thank for Detroit turnaround?
I like the 2 odd ones. That one, because it's preposterous. And then what was there was another one that was...
the Ravens players petition Michael Phelps to give them swim lessons? I think that would be the one. Why do they want swim lessons? I understand why you want Michael Phelps. Sure, if I'm going to get swim lessons.
But why do they want swim lessons?
Conditioning?
Maybe that's it. I guess they don't.
Like
maybe they don't know how to swim.
Swimming's about the best workout you can get.
Yeah, that's what I've been told. I told you how I learned to swim, right? My old man put a pool back in the yard, an in-ground pool when I lived in Forest Lake. I just took one of those orange life jackets. You know what those are like. You have them on the Tana Fitzgerald all the time. You hand them out to all the listeners. And I put it on, and I just, for 2 weeks, would swim in the pool with it. And then one day I took it off and said, just do the same thing you were doing without what you were doing with the life jacket. And I was able to swim. Now, I'm not great. If I fell off the Tana Fitzgerald, I'm donezo. That's why I wear a life jacket when I'm rowing the boat with PJ Fleck. I might be in, but I'm going to wear a life jacket when I got that oar. But I guess, did you click onto the Phelps story?
I did not. Oh. I did see the headline. I can try to check it out quick.
Yeah, well, that's okay. Maybe I'll look
to rationale.
Maybe I'll look at it during the break, and that could be a topic coming out of one. That's why we're radio gardeners. We have no idea where we're going with the show. So maybe we'll talk about that on the other side of the break. Though I do have a couple of other tricks up my sleeve.
Yes, the Ravens cornerback Marlon Humphrey posted a video to Instagram featuring offensive tackle Ronnie Stanley, safety Kyle Hamilton, tight end Charlie Kohler, and himself asking Baltimore-born Olympian Michael Phelps for swim lessons.
Not much
one in 3 Ravens cannot swim.
1 in 3 cannot swim?
Apparently they have a nice aquatic center at Ravens training camp.
And 2 out of 3 on defense can't tackle, but that's a whole other story in itself. Wah, wah.
Question number 3.
I'm going to say something controversial.
That's interesting.
It's time now for the controversial question of the day.
All right, Common, would you rather have a personal chef who does all the meal prep, grocery shopping, cooking, and cleanup for the rest of your life?
I do that. That's my wife.
Or a housekeeper who does all the laundry and cleaning?
Well, Deuce said I was a good cooker back when he was like 5 years old, 4 or 5 years old. I threw some hot dogs in the water, cranked up the heat and boiled them, opened up a can of baked beans and heated them in a pan on the stove, and served them up. And Deuce said, "Gee, Dad, you're a good cooker." He thought that was gourmet eating back in the day. He also, sitting in the very last row, upper deck, target field, said, these are the best seats in the house. Deuce is easy to please.
I always love that one.
I could learn to cook. I know you could just go to fast food, or go to restaurant, but I just after a while.
Fast food without being fast food?
Yeah, my lovely wife Potato, she can rattle the pots and pans. I'm eating.
Yes,
right
you already have your own chef.
Well, that's it. I'm right now.
Maybe she might have a different opinion on this question.
I'm right now eating. She made a pot roast, right? So good. I'm taking the leftover beef and I shred it up and I heat it and I put it between a couple of pieces of English muffin toasting bread. It's so good.
Oh, the one we got sent to our work?
No, but I did take one of those.
The country
loaves.
hearth, yeah.
I did take one of those loaves though. But we have some. That's Deuce's favorite bread. My wife has to get 2 loaves of that English muffin toasting bread every single time she goes to the store. So
I've had to get the cinnamon raisin ones that we got a couple weeks ago. I've had to get it nonstop now because my kids keep asking for it.
I will say this: I don't mind doing. I don't know. To me, laundry is not that big of a chore. You take it,
the folding of the laundries.
You put it in the right, but that doesn't take me too terribly long. The cleaning of the house.
Are you doing Deuce's and Peter's or just your own?
Well, we all just do our own.
Okay, so that's the difference. I've got a house of 5 that I'm doing. That takes considerably more time.
They're 20 and 22. They do their own laundry at this point. It's the house cleaning is the one. I'm responsible for the dusting and the vacuuming, and I'm behind at the house. Just say it's
golf season.
Yeah, it is golf season, and then now I got yard work to do on top of that. So I'm that would be the housework's the one that gets me.
And that's it for today's edition of 5 Questions. Well, actually, 3 questions, but 5 sounds like more than 4.
It's been fast-paced and controversial. A former athlete criticizing another athlete. I think maybe he ought to stay in his lane. I'll explain other side of the break. Common Man program in the Fan.
Did you know using your browser in incognito mode doesn't actually protect your privacy? Take back your privacy with IPVanish VPN. Just one tap and all your data, passwords, communications, browsing history, and more will be instantly protected. IPVanish makes you virtually invisible online. Use IPVanish on all your devices, anytime you go online at home and especially on public Wi-Fi. Get IPVanish now for 70% off a yearly plan with this exclusive offer at ipvanish.com/audio.
Minneapolis, get ready. Music legend Paul McCartney is bringing his Got Back tour to U.S. Bank Stadium October 17th. Tickets are on sale now. One night, one icon. Don't miss it. Full details available at KFAN.com, keyword calendar.
Couple 13-14 past Common Man program. I'm Comedy's 10 to be. The legendary Mark Rosen will join us here just before 2 o'clock. Passport in hand, I'm sure. As most people have them. He'll join us just before 2 o'clock here in studio. We're in studio again tomorrow, right? Did I have that right?
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't think we were out. Then I think we're at training camp one day next week. Anyway, Tenneby, you'll remember when a couple of weeks ago, Scotty Scheffler raised my eyebrows, right? Piqued people's curiosity when he was talking before the Open Championship about how golf really wasn't the be-all, end-all for him. His exact quote was, "This is not a fulfilling life. It's fulfilling from the sense of accomplishment, but it's not fulfilling from a sense of the deepest places of your heart." That's why I talk about family being my priority, because it really is. I'm blessed to be able to come out here and play golf, but if my golf ever started affecting my home life, or if it ever affected the relationship I have with my wife or my son, that's going to be the last day that I play out here for a living. And a lot of people weighed in on that, and most people thought that was, hey, that's kind of cool, right? Yeah. Faith, family, fairways. That's how I do it. Faith, family, fairways, and frequency. Tom Brady's puzzled by it. Former New England Patriots and Tampa Bay Buccaneers quarterback. Apparently he has a newsletter. I didn't know that. Maybe I should do a newsletter. He has a newsletter, Tenneby. A story I found reads as follows. It said, And in his latest newsletter, Brady questioned why Scheffler feels the need to prioritize one over the other. He doesn't understand it. Brady wrote that he places each priority of life into a pyramid, putting himself at the top. Now think about that statement, for instance. He puts himself at the top, followed by his partner, children, work, extended family, friends, hobbies, and the greater community. He puts the greater community at the rock bottom, I guess. That's at the bottom of the pyramid, or maybe that's the base of his pyramid. It's sort of like my top 10 friends list. Remember, I had a top 10 friends list? I still do. According to Brady, the key is knowing when one priority should take precedence over the other. It's knowing when. He wrote, Scotty said he'd rather be a better father and husband than a good golfer. And my question is, why are those mutually exclusive? Sure, there are different blocks on the pyramid, but they're part of the same pyramid. They're connected. For instance, I think part of being a great father is being a great example of doing what it takes to take care of your family. I chose to do it by playing football. My dedication to the sport, the hours of practice, the moments where I was laser focused, those were times when I believe I was doing the best possible thing for my family and my kids by prioritizing my profession and teaching by example what it takes to be really good at your job, what it takes to follow through on commitments, what it takes to be a great teammate, and showing them also by example that work is a big part of all our lives. Brady went on to explain that your kids pay attention to everything, and for Brady, the way he became a great football player and the work he put in to get better is able to serve as a positive role model for his kids. It also should be mentioned that he lost his wife because of his dedication to football, because he prioritized football. If you remember, if I remember correctly, she thought, is it Giselle?
Yeah, Giselle Bundchen.
Giselle, and he had said, hey, maybe we should call it a quit, do more stuff with the family because you're always gone. Because that football isn't just 6 months out of the year. I mean, that's the football season, but then there's hanging out with the guys and going to training camp and Otis and mini camps and just staying in shape. And he decided, after announcing he was going to retire, he decided against it, wanted to come back to pay with Tampa Bay. And she said, enough's enough. So, he said he puts himself at the very top of that.
Also, while being a positive role model for his kids, he showed them, here's how you deflate football so you have a competitive advantage over your opponents.
Exactly. So, I just of all the guys, he might have just wanted to sit this one out. I just think he should have left that one alone because he basically, if I remember correctly, I think the reason that marriage, and there was probably other reasons that the marriage disintegrated, but that seemed to be the biggest problem, was that she wanted him to be home and spend more time with the family and thought that was the deal once he won he won with New England and that was going to be it, and he was going to move on. He announced he was going to retire, and then he decided against it. And that's good for him if that's really what he wanted to do, but I think his priorities, he puts himself number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And I don't even mind the way he does his priorities.
Right.
But it's him thinking that everyone should think the same way he does, right? Like every single person is unique and different and has different things that brings happiness to their lives. For Scotty Scheffler, it's, I'm going to be family first, make sure I'm with my kids, but I'm also going to golf on the side. And it's also weird that he's like going after Scheffler. Out of all the people on earth right now in sports to go after for how they're prioritizing their life. Like Scheffler's not the guy to go after. The guy's the best in his sport.
Yes.
And it's not even close.
Well, and it's almost as if that, Brady was idolized and pedestalized, right? And, while he was playing, GOAT the whole thing. I don't know, does he feel like he's not getting the attention? I mean, he's doing television broadcasts now, and he's getting better at it. People like him. But you're right. I don't know why he's picking on anybody at all, but particularly Scheffler. Maybe it's because Scheffler is right now. I'm not going to say that Scheffler is the most well-known and popular athlete in sports. He's, as much as people want to try to say he's now starting to reach that, as far as results on a golf course, he's starting to he's
Tiger-like.
He's kind of in Tiger's neighborhood, but he doesn't have that magnetism that Tiger did. Tiger just had that people they glommed on to him. They'd like to watch him play golf.
He transcended sports.
Yeah, he really did. He absolutely did. And so, but maybe Tom feels like he's a little let out there. So let me explain to you how it should be. Your life should be like a pyramid. That's how you should prioritize what you're doing in your life. But I think Scotty's doing just fine. I think the way Scotty is handling
He's prioritizing family and still winning everything.
That's exactly what he's doing.
So it sounds like he's got the best of both worlds.
Yeah, that would be my guess. But I'm fascinated by the newsletter. I didn't know he did one. And how do you subscribe to that newsletter?
Sure, yeah. Join. It goes right in your email inbox, I'm guessing.
Yeah, it's a great gig if you can get it. By the way, it's called Twins Trade Watch, like Baywatch, the TV show. So far, by the way, it's the old, you have to have a roster. Wasn't there an old saying about, you have to have a roster to know the players or whatever that old saying was? The Twins roster is changing dramatically. They've now traded a total of 5 players since a couple of days ago. It started with Paddock and Dobnak, who was with the minor league club, but, he was with the Twins organization, traded to Detroit for a catching prospect. And then now it's been Duran, Bader, and Brock Stewart. And who did Brock Stewart go to? He went to Dodgers?
Yes.
He went to the Dodgers.
Bader went back to Philly with Duran.
And then
Paddock and Dobnak with the Tigers, which is a much better organization than ours, according to him.
Yeah, well, the kitchen's better. I mean, it's got granite countertops. It's got the double sink, and it's got that little sprayer you can pull out, and then your spray's got that going for me.
They got the double oven. Double oven,
got a garbage disposal. It's a beautiful dishwasher. It's all there. It's a wonderful kitchen that they have there in Detroit. Aaron Gleeman, we brought this up a couple of times. Aaron Gleeman, who for Gleeman in the Geek, who's appeared on this radio show before, and he's on with Barrero a lot, and I think with Paul Allen and others. He says, what was his tweet? This ain't the end of it.
Yeah, Twin Source.
Yeah.
There's still more to come, basically.
Still more to come. So we will keep you posted on that. We'll take our bottom of the hour break. Rosen chomping at the bit to join us. He'll join us just before 2 o'clock here on the Fan.
Did you know using your browser in incognito mode doesn't actually protect your privacy? Take back your privacy with IPVanish VPN. Just one tap and all your data, passwords, communications, browsing history, and more will be instantly protected. IPVanish makes you virtually invisible online. Use IPVanish on all your devices, anytime you go online at home, and especially on public Wi-Fi. Get IPVanish now for 70% off a yearly plan with this exclusive offer at ipvanish.com/audio.
Want to chime in on what's happening with your favorite KFAN program? Make your voice heard on the Bradshaw and Bryan text line. Let us know what you have to say by texting your message to 64686. That's 64686. Standard message and data rates apply.
Pastime common G is 10B. 10B, you asked me a question, I think, during 534. You said, Common, will you be tuning into the Hall of Fame game tonight, the annual National Football League Hall of Fame game? It kicks off the 2025 preseason. It's Kitties and Chargers in Cooperstown. You asked me if I'd be watching. I said I might click it on out of curiosity. How about you? Will you watch a game, or let me guess, you got baseball or something?
We don't have baseball, but we have other activities tonight. So yeah.
So you will not
band concert.
I was talking to a golf
because I would only ever want to watch the first drive, basically.
Yeah,
because there might be guys I've heard of out on the field at that time.
I was I like, me, Teddy. I love to study the backups. I love the depth. I like to see what we have in depth. That's kind of me. I take notes. I got a notepad out, and I like watching those second and third stringers and those undrafted free agents working out. I got a text message, and you're going to have to take my word for it. As a matter of fact, there were a couple of these, Tennessee. And I think you're going to roll your eyes, shrug your shoulder, and shake your head, and think maybe people were just saying this and don't really mean it. I'm sorry I have to go so far back. I was trying to talk really slow. Boy, I can't believe how many text messages I get here that I don't even see. Somebody will say, did you get my text message? And I go, I didn't see it. It's because they come in at the more they come in, they just keep, it's like ticker tape. It just the others start to disappear. They're not gone, but they just. But here you're
you know what you do?
What's that?
Money making. Everyone's trying to make a buck, right?
Yeah.
Right. The Laurie and A-Rod are trying to come up with ways to make more money off of people,
Yes.
and if you pay a certain amount of fee, your text gets featured at the top and doesn't scroll down with the rest.
Brilliant!
That is brilliant. I like that. You want to split the money with me, even Steven?
Sure.
I mean, it's your idea, but it's the
It's your
common man program. I know we can't have it every day, but I miss Wheel of Topics. I'm telling you, people think I make that up. I know there are people that hate the Wheel of Topics because they don't like golf. Who even cares about your game? Nobody cares. No, people do care. So, Tenemy, without further ado, let's go ahead, if you will, and spin the Wheel of Topics. Probably lands on Twins praise the Ravens who can't swim.
Commons golf game.
What'd you shoot today?
79.
Where'd we play?
Prestwick at Wedgwood and Woodbury.
Where'd you hit it on one?
Right up the gut.
How far from the green were you?
I still had a ways to go. I had a 7-iron.
Then what?
Didn't hit it very well. Was short of the green.
Well, there's that. Then what?
Well, I flipped it up on and made the putt. I hit a nice pitch and I made the putt. Yeah, so it was really nice. I got off to an okay. I went 7 over with 2 doubles. So I felt pretty good about it. I made a sand save on 18, too. I hit it into Moody's bunker on the left. Big, deep, cavernous bunker. And I'm a terrible bunker player. I made a decision years ago, here was my choices. Either spend hours and hundreds of hours practicing my sand game, or just try to hit more greens in regulation when I play. And I opted for the second one. I hit my bunker shot. You can't even see, you just see it pop out. I thought it was going to hop on the green and run up close. Ends up, it caught some of the rough on the way out of the, before it got to the green. So I had 35 feet and I just, with a big hook on it, and I just knocked it in for a par to end the day. So it was a nice way to finish up. By the way, I haven't heard it yet today, but Tim, I'm being asked a lot of people are texting me. I hear it's even a topic that's trending on social. What's the major announcement Common Man has at 12 noon tomorrow? I can't say. We have to wait till 12 noon. But much like there was a major announcement about the best concert in the history of Minnesota was coming to town, and then the Power Trip Morning Show had an incredible announcement, an unbelievable announcement, jaw-dropping announcement coming from the Power Trip Morning Show. Of course, I don't know which one was more underwhelming. Paul McCartney coming to town or the Power Trip going back to Las Vegas for the 13th, 14th time. How either of those were considered major announcements still kind of blows me away. Trust me, the one I'm going to make at 12 noon is going to be tomorrow. Is going to be jaw-dropping, to say the least. You'll want to be.
I can't wait.
That. I figured you'd say that. Matter of fact, if you had the genie's bottle and you rubbed it and the genie popped out, and you have 3 wishes, Master, I'm sure you would ask for 3 more wishes, and then you would say, I wish it was noon tomorrow. You'd use one of your wishes just to get to noon tomorrow so you can hear that major announcement. We've been talking about, I asked you that question the other day, if you were the general manager of the New Orleans Saints, you got the job and you were looking for a coach and you had a chance to take either Dan Campbell or KOC. You did not hesitate. You said KOC. I hesitated for about a second, and then I said I would take Dan Campbell. Here's what, and I had somebody ask me to, this could be the call I've been waiting my whole life for. There's speculation regarding the Kitties, and rightfully so. They won the division last year, 15-2. They were considered by many the best team in pro football. They lose in the playoffs. In the first round, they get beat by Washington, and all's well that ends well. During the offseason, the Lions lost not one but 2 coordinators. Offensive coordinator Ben Johnson gets the head coaching job with the Chicago Bears, and Aaron Glenn packed his bags and moved on to the Big Apple, and he's now the head coach of the New York Jets. And there's much speculation, Teneby, as to how will the Lions adjust on both sides of the football? Ben Johnson, there's a reason these guys were hired as head coaches, because they were really good at being coordinators for their specific units. Ben Johnson's offense was considered, I don't know about groundbreaking, but certainly it was innovative and it was successful. Now, he also had a lot of nice pieces to work with. A terrific offensive line. The Lions, their general manager, the Holmes character, sort of does the same thing that the general manager of the Eagles, Rosenbaum. Ron
Roseman?
Yeah, Roseman. Ron Rosenbaum is, the late Ron Rosenbaum is an attorney. Sorry, he was on a big ticket all the time. I miss him. I've actually used Ron. That's another story in itself. I'll tell it some other time. I'll spin that yarn some other time. But those general managers built offensive lines and defensive lines that were near the top of the league. The Lions had a lot of, Goff's a quality quarterback. Their running back tandem, Sonic and Knuckles, terrific. Amon-Ra St. Brown, good defense. They scored a lot of points. There was a reason they went 15-2. Defensively, I think a lot of people thought Aaron Glenn, with all we know that the decimated Detroit defense, they set a National Football League record for the most players lost to injury on the defensive side of the ball. It was 18 last year. 18
Crazy.
players. They were calling guys on the phone. They were sitting on their couch. Phone would ring on a Wednesday, and the guy would go, "Yeah, it's Aaron Glenn, Detroit Lions. Aaron, what are you calling for? Just wondering, would you be interested in playing football?" Guy hasn't played in the league in 5 years. He's not, he's not in shape. And he goes, "Well, when do you need me?" "Well, could you be here tomorrow? How much does it pay?" "Okay, I'm in." So he was given a lot of credit for getting a lot out of that Detroit defense when they didn't have a lot of the starters playing. So then the question becomes, and I think a lot of people feel this way, well, this team's going to take a step back, right? I mean, you lose coordinators like that, and you and I have had it, and we're not the only ones to have this discussion. It's an age-old, it's the old coaches coach, players play. I do think coordinators, obviously, they put players in the right position. There's, their schemes and their game plans and what they do varies from coordinator to coordinator, and there are, there's a pecking order there. There's your best defensive coordinator and your worst, and everyone in between. I still think players are more important than the coordinator itself. But I will say this. I think in football, tell me if you agree with this. I think in football, more than any other sport, they do the rah-rah, they doubted us thing, right?
Yeah.
I can see Dan Campbell right now in that locker room going, guys, I wish you could see it because he always takes his hat off and runs his hand through his hair. Guys, to say, we can't win without Aaron Glenn. It's all about Aaron Glenn. If it wasn't for Aaron Glenn, the defense wouldn't have been any good. And they're saying, we can't score any points. We won't be able to move the football because Ben Johnson's gone. He's left. They're saying it was all Ben Johnson and all Aaron Glenn, that you guys aren't worth anything. That's what they're saying about you. Now, do you guys believe that? Do you believe that was all Ben? And we love Ben. We wish he would have stayed. We loved Aaron. We wished he would have stayed too. We'd love to have been together. We were one big family. We were one pride here in Detroit. But the two guys we got, you've seen them now. These guys know what they're doing, and it's about you guys. It's about you. You can play for anybody. It doesn't matter who the coordinator is. You guys, we have to prove the people wrong. Everybody's doubting us except all 53 guys in this room. That's the kind of stuff they do, and that fires them. Now, doesn't always work, right? I'm not saying that because that's what Danny Campbell's going to do. If he hasn't done it already, he's going to do it sometime during this training camp. He's going to do the old. Everybody thinks that, and whether that works for a game, for half a season, for the entire season, or if it doesn't work at all. But these guys start believing that stuff, right? Yeah, you're right. Why do you think at the beginning of the games you've got Drew Brees in the middle of the huddle, right where that tunnel comes out, and he's going, they're ready to take the field, and he's going, who dat going to beat them Saints? Who dat going to beat them Saints? And he's jumping up and down, and guys are getting fired. We're going to go get him. Let's go. Well, that's what they do. They're kids playing, they're grown men playing a kid's game. And you got to get fired up like that. And that's why we talked about, who was it who recently said, was it one of the Wild players? We kind of like playing on the road. Remember the road record was really, really good? We like playing on the road. You like silence in the crowd, right?
Sure.
So these guys get into those kinds of things. And so I think that's going to be the straight, not saying it's going to work, but my guess is that's here in Minnesota. You know, guys are saying we got a rookie quarterback. He hasn't proven himself in this league yet. Well, you guys have seen JJ in practice. He's proven a lot to us right here. You've seen the leadership abilities out there. What was his record in high school? Right. What was his record in college? He won a national championship in his very last year. The people out there are doubting J.J. McCarthy. They're wondering if we have enough around him to prop him up. Well, guess what? We know better than that here, don't we? He's going to do that.
Oh, they're doing the old. We were 14-3 last year. What does Vegas have our over-under at?
Yeah.
8.5, guys.
8.5. That's how little they think of you guys. And plus, we've got 4 great additions, 2 on the offensive line and 2 in the defensive line that we got free agents. Guys that have proven their mettle. Guys that have been in the trenches. They've been in the wars. They're part of our family now. They're part of our family. And they're giving everything they got. Guys are laying it on the line. They're in the training room. It's bandwagon. It really is. And then that's going to pump that. Every team's got a different story, right? And they're all using some type of rah-rah, you know. And
Siskumba.
Siskumba. And it's generally, it's the old, everybody doubts us. Only we believe in ourselves. But the only people that have to believe in ourselves are us. So let's prove everybody wrong. You've got to create a chip on your shoulder, right? You have to create some type of, I don't know what you'd call it, some type of adversity or some kind of doubt that others are they're portraying you as a team that you've got some issues here. You're never going to be able to come back without those coordinators. You know how good those guys are. You can't lose both coordinators. You can't take a quarterback who hasn't taken a snap in the National Football League, guy who handed off most of his career in Michigan. He ain't going to lead you anywhere. You're in trouble. And you do that, and that makes people get fired up. I'm sure they did it to you. I mean, you got a mediocre talk show host you're working with, Kennedy, but guess what? You can build him up. So it's those kinds of things.
Build this thing together, standing strong forever.
Someone says, I know the announcement coming. You signed the new contract with KFAN. That is coming, but that's not it. I mean, that would be anticlimactic. I mean, they keep asking me to sign, and I'm kind of playing coy a little bit. Let me think about it for a little bit. I'm adding a few, are they called addendums?
Yeah.
I'm adding a little of this, a little of that with the emphasis on the latter. I'm trying to anyways. There's a lot of give and take here, tend to be.
Mostly taking.
Yeah. Yeah. Trust me.
Not a lot of giving.
One of those contract negotiations, I've told it on the air, was years and years and years ago. Sat down, offer was pushed to me and said, "This is what we got for you." And there was a raise. I'm not saying that, it was not a raise. I went, oh, seems a little small. Not quite what I was thinking. So maybe looking for a little bit more. Well, that's all we got. Well, I mean, couldn't we just talk about it a bit? That's basically it. It's kind of a take it or leave it kind of a deal.
Well, there's that.
Yeah. Well, then I held up the email because the email said contract negotiation meeting. I said, well, it says contract negotiation here. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm missing something here, but I don't feel like we're negotiating right now. This is basically, you're telling me this is the deal. And he said, let's just face facts, Common. We know you were going to come in high. We were going to come in low. So I thought we'd just meet in the middle. I go, well, how did you know what my high was? You don't know how you're establishing the middle. How do you know I wasn't asking for double the money? Or maybe I was asking for a really small raise. And that's when it got ugly. And I probably said some things I probably shouldn't have said.
Doesn't surprise me.
I'm still here, though. But yeah, I probably shouldn't have said so. But I think I had every right to, because I just thought it's just like, that's just, it's much better now. I love dealing with the people here at iHeart and Clear. Back then, I think it was still a Clear Channel. It was so long ago, it might have been Evergreen. Because we've had a number of different ownership. We were also Shamrock for a while, too. How many ownership groups have you been through? I've been through like 5 or 6.
Clear Channel.
I've been through 5 or 6.
Clear Channel and iHeart.
Shamrock, Evergreen. There were a couple of others along the way, too. So, yeah. So there have been other trades across the Major League Baseball. A lot of the names, I got to be honest, tend to be, I don't really recognize. Though it does seem, I did notice this. And this is probably, and maybe this happens every year, but I think I've noticed it more mostly because we traded our closer. Duran traded yesterday to the Phillies for 2 players. A very highly regarded starting pitcher, young kid, rookie. And then there's a catching prospect he's still green. They say he's got a really good bat. He's going to have to learn. He might not even continue to play catcher. He might have to move to another position or be a DH, but they like him too. But they traded for the closer. And what I've noticed is, and maybe this is every trade deadline, every season, closers seem to be what people are going after because, if once you get to postseason play and, you got a 5-4 lead and you're going to the 9th, you want a guy that you can basically, who's the guy that's closing for Boston now? Is it Aroldis Chapman? The Chapman kid.
Yeah.
He's been around a while, right? Yeah. Was he with the Yankees for a while?
Yes, he was with the Yankees.
And he came it was funny.
Started with the Reds, I believe.
Boston tried to, this was the Twins-Boston game. And the Twins, by the way, have lost 2 of every 3 games in every series since the All-Star break. I think that's 4 of them. And in one of those Boston games, I saw the end of it. They were they brought out, I don't know if it was a fresh arm in the 9th inning or the guy that pitched the 8th. I don't know. And he got in some trouble. And then the manager for Boston, whoever he is, Dick Williams, I think. I think he finally said, well, enough of this nonsense. Let's stop fooling around. He brings in Chapman, and Chapman strikes the guy out in 3 pitches. I think it was just boom, boom, boom. It's just like, why even bother with this charade, the charade? Let's just go ahead and bring closer guy in. So they're very valuable. They're I got a number of text messages here, as I've been able to scan some of them during breaks, where one listener who texted in said, the Twins almost had to take that offer because the prospects they got are highly regarded. And yeah, I mean, you didn't have to take the deal. If you feel like you can be competitive next year, you do need a closer. But at the same time, I don't think it is just baseball strategy, Tammy. As you said, I think really what this is all about is they know they're going to sell this team. They want to sell this team. They don't want to own it next year. They don't care about next year. They don't want to own the team. They want it sold, lock, stock, and barrel, and move on. Now, Joe would like to run the team. He stated that, but I don't think that's going to happen. But that's what they want to do, is they just want to sell the team. But let's even say, for argument's sake, they wanted to keep the team. My guess is at least, well, they're not thinking this way, so it doesn't even make it. I would say the only reason you would do that would be because you think we're so far away. We have to we got to strip it down to the brass tacks. We got to completely start. It's going to be 2, 3, 4 years before we get into a position where we're going to be a winning team again. I don't know if they are that far away. We saw what happened last year. I think it was at this time last year, they were, 6, 8, 10 games over 500. They were in first place. And then Joe Ryan went down, right? And once we lost Joe Ryan, you lose the start. That's probably part of the reason what happened here with Lopez. We were. What was our record before Lopez got hurt? We were above 500.
Yeah, they had a nice run there.
Yeah, we had a nice run. We were 4 or 5 games out of 500. And then once he went out, the losing streak started, and it just snowballed, and it really hasn't stopped since then. They've just played bad, but and again, I'll mention again, Twins did make a trade. They traded Bader to Philadelphia. Later Bader, and they also traded Brock Stewart to the Los Angeles Dodgers. That's 5 players traded, if you include Randy Dobnak, by the Twins. And as we also mentioned, Gleeman of Gleeman and the Geek, he tweeted out, Twin source tells him we're not done. So, 3 hours to go for the trade deadline. We'll keep an eye on it. We'll see what Mark Rosen thinks about all of it. He joins us next here on the Common Man program on The Fan.
Did you know using your browser in incognito mode doesn't actually protect your privacy? Take back your privacy with IPVanish VPN. Just one tap and all your data, passwords, communications, browsing history, and more will be instantly protected. IPVanish makes you virtually invisible online. Use IPVanish on all your devices, anytime you go online at home and especially on public Wi-Fi. Get IPVanish now for 70% off a yearly plan with this exclusive offer at ipvanish.com/audio.